How long were you on bed rest?
It would be off and on,
Off and on.
for, my hands didn't work for around 15 days. And when the flickering came, I could understand what life is.
Yeah. We all face challenges in life, but how many of us don't give up, but use these challenges to our advantage? Welcome to Season 2, Episode 35 of our podcast series. With me today is Akanksha Agarwal. Akanksha is a poet, author, artist, and a COVID survivor, joining us remotely from New Delhi, India. Today, she will be sharing with us her experience as a COVID survivor and her work journey and achievements as a housewife. Hello, Akanksha, and welcome to Podcast with Sheila.
Thank you so much, Sheila. It's wonderful to be with you and talking to you.
Great. It's a pleasure to have you. I think we've scheduled this podcast recording for a while now, but I'm excited we are doing this because I've always wanted to do a story around COVID, somebody who's been through it and will be able to share the experience. So I'm excited we are doing this today. Let's get to know you a bit more. Tell us more about Akanksha as it was when you were growing up, life as it was in India when you were growing up as a small girl. Can you share that with us just so that we get to know you a bit more?
Yeah. Yes, of course. So I'm from not from Delhi, from a small town near Delhi.
Okay.
And my parents have been doctors. My father, a physician, he was a cancer patient, and it's been 12 years. He's not been with us. My mother is a gynecologist. She is 60 plus. And yes, I'm smiling because of her. I'm writing because of her. She is my strength in whatever I'm doing. And I think I'm sitting here because of her, want and desire for me to just get better and better. She wanted me back in this life again. She didn't want me on bed. She wanted me that, just, get back on my knees.
Wow, bless her and bless you too. So let's talk about your COVID journey in 2020. What was it like? Because that year was a terrifying year for all of us. Everyone, I think we felt the heat of the pandemic, and we still feel it though, because it doesn't seem to have gone away completely. I believe in India as well, and in UK here, it doesn't seem to have gone away completely. So there's still that kind of fear. It looks like never go back to what life used to be. So we just have to adjust and move on. But you have experienced it. You went through the pains of COVID. Share with us how it was and your journey as a COVID survivor.
Yeah, I want to tell you, I have kids. I'm married. I live in a joint family. So yes, the scenario is little, it's wonderful being like this in a family like this. So when my father was COVID positive, so we took him to Delhi. Being a metropolitan city, we lived in a, nearby Delhi. So that time, maybe I then became COVID positive. I was quarantining. So, after 10 days of me being quarantined, I realized that I was becoming weak and weak. While I used to go to the loo, while, eating, my hands would become, it would be difficult for me
to
eating. And, yes, lifting my hand and, walking. It became difficult day by day. So, but the doctors couldn't understand anything. Whenever I would go to the doctor, he would say that, it's from here. I would say, why would I do that? Even I want to stand like you, be like you, walk like you. Why can't I do that? What is the problem? Then, they did all the, the investigations. Every investigation was fine, perfect. Then the neurophysician was called, and then my limbs were checked. So
Okay.
there was this problem, neurological problem in my body going on, and that is why my grade of limbs had gone down from from 5 to 1.
Yeah.
And so I just go like this, slowly, holding my husband, or with a stick or something like that. And then gradually I came on the wheelchair also.
Oh, yeah.
And so first it was my legs that were not working. Gradually with physiotherapy I became better, and then suddenly one day my hands stopped working. So it was very terrifying. It was like,
I imagine.
it was, I mean, I
Was
was like a dead meat on bed. It was like that.
Well, I don't know. From what we heard in the news a lot was people who couldn't breathe properly because they said the respiratory, something had to do with the lungs and all that. But it looks like what you're sharing with us is a bit different, like your limbs were not working. Was it that the blood was not able to flow through it? What was happening? Did they
Yes.
work?
Yes, the blood circulation was not there. My feet nails had become all white.
Oh.
And
Oh.
I mean, that is why I couldn't walk. I mean,
Yeah.
physiotherapy was done. I was there for a wellness center for around 15 days to detoxify my body. Everything was done. I mean, it's been an year, and now I have a new avatar. You can see that. I mean, it's
Yeah.
different now.
How long were you on bed rest?
It would be off and on,
Off and on.
for, I mean, my hands didn't work for around 15 days. And when the flickering came, I could understand what life is.
Yeah.
What every body part means
Yeah.
for you.
Exactly.
I mean, not using your hands is like,
yeah.
I mean, people are just helping me out in each and everything. Eating, going to the loo. You can't help yourself while you're shitting. Can you imagine that?
Yeah.
I mean, you're just like a zombie standing or sitting, and you being helped by people. And I think they were God helping me all.
This would
Can
be
you
a very
imagine that?
terrifying moment. Yeah, because it's something very new to you. You're somebody who is capable and
Absolutely.
able.
I think new for anyone. I mean, it's a new life for me. I mean, I
Exactly.
couldn't think about this ever. I mean, for anyone who's heard about me, or who knows me, who loves me, they just say that, this is a new avatar of yours now. Just live your life now. Just do
Yeah.
whatever you want to do.
Yeah. Yeah. Because we've got just one life, isn't it? And it looks like I think sometimes as human beings, we don't cherish our life so much, or we don't really see the essence of life. No, you know what? One thing that just popped in my head. When you have something in abundance, you don't value it. It could be anything.
Yes.
You don't value it that much until when you're actually losing it. It's like, let me use money as an example. When you have money in abundance, you don't really value it. You get it. But when you don't have a lot of it, then you want to save the little that you have. You want to take care of it. And it's like that, like our lives. When you know that, I think COVID taught us a lot of things. That was when people started taking their health seriously, exercising a lot, because most of us weren't exercising. Like for me, I wouldn't exercise because I'm not the exercise type. But COVID taught us how to take care of ourselves, how to make sure we have enough rest and all of that. So I think that when we go through a situation and we see that something that we have could be taken away from us at any time, when we come out of that situation, we take care of it properly. We have to prioritize our health and our family. You're right. You're right. How did this impact on your family? Because I know that you're a housewife, so the children are with you all the time, most of the time. What was it like when they saw that mom was not well?
Firstly, my kids were shifted to my mother's place.
Okay.
I had to I mean, because I have other people around, you have to take care of them
Yeah.
also. So
Yeah.
my kids were shifted there, and yes, they knew that I'm not well. They were given that balm to them that that mom is fine and she'll be
Yeah.
back soon.
Yeah.
And I never did any video calls with them,
Oh,
no messages, nothing, because I was scared if they would talk to me or
yeah.
see me, they would just
Yeah.
um, you know uh, get have tears in their
Yeah.
eyes, and I won't be able to resist myself.
Exactly.
So yes, I was away from them, and my family has just played the biggest role. They have been like they were everything for me. They have done everything for me.
Yeah.
They were around me 24 hours, helping me
Wow.
out in each and everything. May it be my husband, my mother-in-law, my father-in-law, my sister-in-law, my brother-in-law,
Great.
who just, I want to tell you that just passed. It's been 6 months due to COVID. He passed away.
Oh dear. Oh, oh my
That's
God.
been the most terrifying thing that has happened in our family, and we are not able to come out of it. It's been bad. But yes, life after COVID has just, you know, toppled like I mean, I have no words. I, I'm getting emotional,
Emotional.
but life has been really difficult
Let me ask
from
you.
1
Let me
year.
ask you one thing. Um, life before COVID, the way you felt, and life after COVID, are they the same? Because when I had sepsis, I was very strong. Like inside of me, I can say at that point, before sepsis, I would say my health was around 95%. But after COVID, even though I'm healed of it, I think my health is around 70%. So in this case, before COVID and after COVID, do you think your health is the same, or the strength you had before then has reduced? You're not that strong like you used to be.
I think I'm becoming better.
Okay.
I'm understanding how I have to live my life.
Okay.
Firstly, you know, how I have to live. That is, meditation, yoga, positivity
Yeah.
is very important. I think Reiki has played a really, important role in my life. I have a guru now who helps me out with those powers and energy to just fight back my emotions, my negativity.
Okay.
It's played a biggest role in my life. Those affirmations are like, God to me right now,
Mm,
because that is the strongest power I have. The affirmation that I do for myself
yeah.
every day. That is the most, that is the strength for me.
Yeah.
And yes, second is the food that I eat. That is very important. I have become very choosy. I have, stopped, milk products, that they were causing problem to me.
Oh,
You know, I'm trying to be vegan. I can't be, I've come on coconut water and all that stuff.
yeah.
I have left wheat, which is very, very, the most common thing in India.
Okay.
Wheat is like that.
Yeah.
So, I am trying to, um,
Change your lifestyle and all that.
transform myself in a better person. And yes, I have become independent in my thinking also. You know, I want myself to be, uh, you know, I mean, the importance is me now,
Yeah. Yeah.
me first and then everyone.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
If
I
I'm fine, then everyone would be fine.
fine.
If I am not fine, then no one can be.
I think that is an important.
I can't help
Yeah, it's an
anyone.
important point you made over there, that you first and then everyone else. Because if you don't have the strength enough to take care of you, then you definitely not have the strength to take care of anyone else. So it has to be your health first, your well-being first, and then everyone else. Yeah. Yeah,
Yes.
that makes a lot of sense. I think I read from your story write-up that whilst you were on bed rest, you were still writing and you wrote a poem.
Mhm.
And
Yes.
you had an interview whilst you were on bed rest. Was this
Yeah.
was a radio interview or a TV interview? What was it?
I think it was a radio interview, which
It
I
was a radio
remember.
interview. Do you remember the poem you made for that radio interview?
Yes, I remember, because I was going for the MRI. I was lying on there on that machine, and I could think that I'm just over. But the love of all my well-wishers made me breathe again, something like that.
Yeah.
So, it was like that. It was magical. It was something different.
Different. The MRI machine, I think that that is another scary machine. I've been in it, will I say twice? I was supposed to go in it once. That was when I was sick with sepsis, and I think I couldn't see properly. So they wanted to check my head to be sure if everything was all right there. So they put me in the MRI machine, and the way you said is as if it was over. And that was how I felt going in it for the first time. I think when I shared this experience with somebody, they've been in it a number of times. So they didn't see anything wrong with it. But that was my first time I was going into it. And for me, it felt like a coffin.
Absolutely. It's like a coffin. And, I've been on that machine a lot of time, but
Okay.
when you cannot walk, you cannot use your hands,
Yeah.
it's like, shifting a dead meat from here and there, here and there.
Yeah.
And seeing yourself being pushed from here and there is like is very depressive.
Very.
Right.
That state you were in, I think I was in a few bits of those states there, and I tend to kind of agree with you on certain terms, the way you felt when you were there. No, because when I was put in that machine, trust me, I was screaming my head out. So, and they wouldn't let me out either, because they said once they set the machine on, the radiations and everything in the room, if anybody comes into the room to stop it, the person is going to get hurt or something. So I have to let the process carry on. And just that alone, because they could talk to me in the machine, so I hear them. So I was telling them, get me out. And they said, you have to take your time. We can't come there now because the machine is emitting a lot of radiations. If anybody comes in, the person is going to get hurt. We have to wait for the machine to shut down properly before. And I just couldn't stand staying in there. I felt as if I was going to die. And
that is so true. Pinch.
No, it's not. It isn't a good experience at all, if anybody asks me. But if that is the only thing you have to do for you to get health, then you don't have a choice. Because I think that I said I didn't want to do it, and they said I'll have to do it again. So they had to cancel me, let me know it's normal to go in there. There's nothing wrong. But the thing I was asking them, if they were telling me that if it's dangerous for somebody to come into the room whilst the machine was on, why am I in there? Then it means I'm not safe. You get it? Because if that machine is that dangerous for anybody to come in because it's emitting a lot of rays and all that, why am I in there? So all of that kept playing in my head, and I said, oh, no, I didn't want to go in. But finally, they made me go in there the second time. I think I got my husband to come and stand outside. So they got another machine that was not as strong as the first one, and my husband stood outside the machine. I don't know, bless him. I trust God that he's okay, because the way they said the thing was emitting a lot of radiations, but he had to be there outside the machine whilst I was inside to be sure that I'm safe and I'm not dying. So I can resonate with you a lot on that point. How many books have you written so far? Because I know you're an author as well.
Yes. So I'm on my second now.
Great. What was the first one like? Share with us what it was like, the story of the first one, and how people have accepted it since it came out.
Truly speaking, I have been very, very, grateful to all the, people who are reading it, because they're just loving it like anything. And I think the topic being love and romance and dejection,
Oh,
it's like, they just, they can just connect,
yeah, yeah.
And the title being The Secret in My Blood. And I
Oh,
have the content inside saying ovulating in emotions, bleeding in love, and fertile to fly. So it's like, you can connect,
yeah,
if you're in love with someone, you start ovulating in love,
yeah.
then you bleed in love. And then finally, you want to fertile to fly. I mean, you can't just resist yourself. So, I mean, any person on this earth would go through these parameters and fulfill their wishes or whatever. So I think it's been a amazing journey with this book, and I'm getting wonderful reviews, and I'm so thankful to everyone.
Akanksha, as you were talking about love, love is a powerful word, because as you were talking about love, the glow on your face, the joy on your face, it's so infectious from where you are there, because you can see that suddenly my face was also,
Oh,
yeah.
It brings energy. Your uh, your hormones become very positive.
Yeah.
There's this energy that you know energy gain in your body that
Yeah.
happens, and then I feel like writing. Yes. And I just love your ambience where you're sitting, the
Oh,
leaves there, the clock there, and I just feel like writing something.
oh, please do. Please do. And when you do, share
Yeah.
it with us. Please do.
I mean, I'm just loving the way you're sitting, everything, and I love the way you're dressed up, everything. It's perfect, I'm
Thank
just
you.
loving it.
Thank you very
The
much.
walls and everything, it's amazing.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Do you have a poem you'd like to share with us? One of your favorite poems of all times you'd like to share with us?
Okay. I would love to. Was it his smile or her imagination that tended her heart to melt? The ocean of her wanderings was immeasurable, her eyes always soaking for his presence in her fantasy, her eyelashes wet as droplets, drooping as raindrops, her lips starving to express the oozing emotions, her dreams wrapped in his memories, her vision blurred beyond his name, her grey hair an indication of longingness, her chapped cheeks sign of wanting him desperately. Will he ever embrace me, kiss my forehead? I think it's that much. There's a question mark.
Yeah. This is lovely. This is lovely. I think so. What kind of books do you write? Do you write romance?
Yes, I think actually it's a poetry book, right?
Okay. Okay.
It's a
But it
poetry
looks
book.
like you do well with romance. You write it because I can
I
feel
have.
the passion as you were, yeah.
Yes, yes.
So I'll not be
I love doing
surprised.
voiceovers.
Oh,
I
you do
love
voice.
doing voiceovers. So yes, it's one of my favorite. I do voiceovers of my poem.
Oh,
So yes.
wow, that's beautiful. That's beautiful. Thank you very much for sharing that with us. There's something you said too. You said, if you want something said, ask a man. And if you want something done, ask a woman. Why did you say that?
So I think that is acceptable because, woman is the person, who can go through anyone, she can do the task. Men would think and think, and, I think they would come to the woman and say, please get it done.
Yeah,
It's kind of that.
yeah.
So I think women are,
Doers?
they have that doers and the
Yeah,
power magic, they have that wound
yeah,
that would just get things done.
yeah, yeah. I think the place of a woman is very special. And I don't know, but I believe that we know our power and our essence as women. And what I'm saying is not the power us to lord it over men, not at all. But our uniqueness, as there are certain things that women can do that no matter how hard men try, they cannot do it. Going, and that's a beautiful thing we have as women. It is that's our power. I think that's our strength. That's a unique thing God added to women that I think we have to cherish so well. Oh my God.
Absolutely.
So, I know you're a housewife, but you do other things on the side. And I know that being a housewife is a full-time job for me. I have 2 children, but sometimes it's as if I have 5 of them because they're hands full. And my children are very energetic. And, every time they're asking something because they've seen something and they're coming to ask you, what is this, mom? What is this? Giving them answers, asking you questions, trying to challenge you. No, I don't think you're right, mom. You're not right here and all of that. Aside the house chores and everything. How do you do it as a housewife? How do you do it such that everything is in place? It falls in place. You know what I mean?
I think family is my priority.
Great.
And, answering their questions is the most important thing that I have to do in life.
Yeah.
And, respecting my family, respecting their, their emotions, that is the priority. And after that is my work and my dreams. And I think working on that balances everything, When you know your priorities, you know that you have to fix that first and then come to other things. Then it works out, it works out.
It does.
So my work is not my priority right now because I have small kids.
Great.
I have my family to look after.
Yeah.
But yes, I know back of my mind that, when I'm finished, I'm not finished completely. I have work to do. And that is my work, my personal work. That comes after my family. So it just, it, round the clock, it adjusts and you'll
be able to do it.
Move on like a cycle, and it works like that.
I want us to draw emphasis here on something that you just said, and I agree with you 100% completely. I think that over the weeks, well, I say 4 weeks, I think 4 seasons back, some of them I'm yet to show. I've recorded them already, but I'm yet to put out today. And I think 4 or 5 seasons back, if not more, we've talked about the stories that came up, made us discuss children who don't receive the best of care or attention when they are very young, and the effect is hard on them. And I'm going to give examples here. Some of these children were, in quotes, neglected at birth. Some of them were abused at birth by parents. And I think that sometimes as parents, we get so busy because there are the bills to pay. So we need to keep working. And sometimes we tend to push the children on the side. But there's one thing that you said here that is making me draw emphasis on this, which is your family should be your priority, especially the children, because it's when they are very young that they have a tender mind, that something little makes a big impact on them as they grow up. That is when we have to be focusing on them at that age when they are very young. But when we allow work to take the better of us, because when we keep working and keep going all the time, we get tired. So by the time we come home to attend to their needs, we'll be too stressed. So the little thing they come to us with, they will be screaming at them. And I realized from interviews I've made that all of those screams, the shout, the none of attention we give them, if we don't give them enough attention, it affects them growing up. Because some of us have shared.
I think I'm interrupting, but I would love to tell you about this. I've learned from my mother.
Yeah.
She being a gynecologist, she has worked 24 hours, every second delivering a baby. But when she would come back home, she would never throw her tantrums of she not, of she being in stress, maybe in depression, maybe tired. Maybe she would want to be with her husband, or maybe she would love to, take a shower or something, the priority would be she would be with me, ask me about my school, my education, what I've eaten, how I've been the whole day. I was with the maid, so how did it go? How well did she be with me?
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
each and everything she would ask me, and I never felt that
Yeah.
she was not with me. I
Yeah.
would be with her, she would go for the deliveries and everything. I would be with her sometimes. I have just, heard those noises of pain, everything. Every second I've heard that, because
Yeah.
my mother always wanted me around. She knew that she would be for work, which I was always around. And she would take care of me.
Wow.
Being a doctor, being a professional woman,
Yeah.
she would take care of everything, everything. So I think I've learned from her about that. And I think every woman,
True.
would
Yeah.
accept this, that, family and, children are the most important, uh, you know, uh, phases of our lives.
Exactly.
And we need to respect it. We need to protect them. We need to, nourish them with good education, with, I think, goodness of everything is required that time.
Yeah.
So that is the most important thing, rather than, thinking about me and me.
Exactly. Exactly. You've made a very important point over there, and a bit that you shared about your mom. It means that we have to make time for everything, equal time for
Absolutely.
everything.
I think 24 hours are enough for any person.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. You know that you just mentioned about sacrifices as women, and I think it's very, very important, because some time back I was talking to my husband. I was saying I wanted to go and do a second degree and all that, but my children were very little, and he was saying you have to let these children grow up a little bit, because before you think of developing yourself some more. And at that point, I was telling him that, well, I had a life before the children came, so I cannot put it on hold. That was my mind then. But he had to educate me and tell me that, yes, you had a life before the children came, but the children are here now. So you have to make your life around the children. Meaning
Absolutely.
some of the things that you want to do, you have to put a hold onto them, yes. And then when they yeah, before yours will come in. And I think that makes a lot of sense when you sit down and you think of it, because how was I going to be able to help them when I have my thesis to write, when I have lectures to go, when I have this and that? There wouldn't be enough time for them. And that is going to
So
impact on
these are
them.
the sacrifices and compromises that you make to build up a
Exactly.
child in a good person.
Yeah.
In,
Yeah.
this is so important.
It is. It is, it is, it is. And I pray that we see it, because I think the world we are in now, we are in a fast world. And the world has become very technological, if I would say. So sometimes we are influenced by so many things which are not right. But if we look at our parents' age, where they didn't have the things we have now, like the technology, the computer, the this and this, those things didn't influence their thinking. So they had the
Yes.
purest of heart, the purest of mind. When they were doing something for their children, they did it wholeheartedly. And there was time. People were not rushing anywhere. These days, we are rushing to, nobody knows where we are even going to.
Absolutely.
We don't seem to have time for anything. And especially for these children, we don't seem to have time. And when I think about it, I tell myself, these children didn't ask to be born. They didn't tell us to give birth to them. So why is it that they are here and we cannot dedicate our time to be there for them? And it's mind-boggling, and it's a worry for me, and I believe for a lot of people as well, because the children don't deserve the kind of things and sometimes they are subjected to.
I feel the same, the way you're thinking. And, I've become so emotional thinking about this, because I think we both are on the same road.
Age, yeah.
I mean, yes. And you are absolutely right.
Yeah.
I don't know what to say right now, because you've said everything, but it is so important to be grounded and to understand what is required at that point of time,
Yeah.
you know you know may any technology come,
Yeah.
but you can't become menial or narrow-minded because of that.
Exactly.
You have to be grounded. You have to know what your priorities are.
Exactly.
I think you and me understand it really well.
Yeah. 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 Let me just chip this in. Yesterday, just before I watch opera a lot. I try to, yeah, I watch,
I'm a fan of that.
Yeah. And I watched one of her episodes where she had brought in abusers. Were that abusers? Yeah, abusers, like men who had defiled young girls and children as young as 5-year-olds. And the men volunteered to share their stories, why they did that, why they abused the children, and also try to share light on what parents should be watching out on as signals of somebody who is a potential abuser or is somebody who would abuse a child. In that sense, some of the things warning signs we should look out for. And these men, all the things they talked about, they look out for children who are not outspoken. So children, most of the children who are not outspoken are children who are being abused at home, or children who are not loved. So they are afraid to talk publicly. They are always cowed and shy. So they know those children. So when they see a child, if a child is outspoken, that child is not their target, because they know that if they do anything to that child, she's going to tell. So they will not go there. So they look for those children. And most of the children don't have love at home, and they don't get attention. So when they give the children attention, then the children get to trust them. So they look for children who can trust them easily as their target. So some of the things they were talking about. And when you look at all these things, they also said, there's another point they emphasize, that most children who are abused, the abusers are family, friends, and relatives. 90% of children who have been abused
close ones are close ones.
Yeah, are close ones. It's only 10% that are strangers, like people from outside. So they are within. And you realize that all this stems from parents not having time for their children. Because when you don't have time, you're sending them off to night out, you are giving them to your neighbors, your friends, take care of them for me, I have to go to work quickly and come back, all those things. When the children are coming to you, I don't have time, you're pushing them away, then the children cannot trust you enough to even share anything with you as a parent. And they feel they are not loved. So once they go out there, they are looking for an uncle, an auntie, a cousin who is ready to give them, in quote, some kind of fake love, which is not right. And that is where there's trouble.
So, yes, and nowadays being social has become the priority. They just want their kids to be alone, and they just want to party. They just want to, I mean, it's become a different scenario now.
Yeah. Yeah.
So kids also like being alone. Parents like to enjoy themselves. So the lobbying is there, but that's the worst part.
It is. That is when we all open ourselves up to danger. And then when the child is abused at that age, she's scarred in her head and in her mind, and it affects her growing up. So
absolutely,
all of these things, I think as parents, we have to be very, very, very watchful and mindful of. Sometimes you overlook them. Okay, I'm leaving my child with this uncle for just 2 minutes. I'm stepping out to buy milk, to buy groceries and come. That 2 minutes can do a lot of things to the child lifetime. So I think some of these things we just have to watch. Yeah, we just have to watch. And we can only emphasize as much through podcasts, through these things, like little bit of things, hoping that somebody will at least hear it and get the wake-up call and know that, oh, okay, I'm not supposed to be doing this. You can't, these days, you can't trust people enough to leave your children with them. So I'm excited that you expressed here that family is your number one priority as a woman. I'm excited.
Yes, I want to say to everyone, don't be quiet.
Yeah.
Be confident to just say whatever you want to.
Yeah.
You have the right to
Yeah.
talk.
Yeah. 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 Yeah.
Silence doesn't work.
It doesn't. It doesn't. It doesn't. There's a saying in my local dialect. I think if I say it, a lot of people will get confused, but it's just like what you just said, that if you are quiet about your situation, you don't get help. But if you voice it out, then you get help. So there's no point being quiet. Yeah. You have to talk about it. Whatever it is, just talk about it. Say it anyway. Nobody will hear. So what is your greatest wish of all time?
I would get my father.
Oh, great. What makes you happy?
Seeing my kids smiling.
Oh, beautiful. Do you believe in miracles?
I am a miracle myself. I have seen miracle on myself. So there's not bigger miracle than me. So yes, I absolutely believe in miracles.
Great. What is your mission in life?
Missions are never accomplished. It's only, just let your emotions out. Let people know what you have inside you, and let people connect with you. I think that's the best part of being, at least me. I want to connect with the masses all over the world and, enjoy their thoughts with mine. That would be best.
Great. Your favorite phrase, if you have any?
I love this, I don't know why, but silence speaks louder than words.
Oh, that's a beautiful one. Finish these sentences. I will love
to be in your place.
Great. I will forever treasure
my father's pen.
I pray
to talk to my father.
I cannot
live without my family. I love them too much.
Beautiful. I believe
I'm the greatest strength.
What will your final message be to our listeners as we wrap up?
Believe in yourself. Love yourself. Live your life. Count your blessings. Very important.
Yeah.
God is the most important.
Yeah.
Value your emotions. Value your family.
Yeah.
And be yourself. Just don't, screw yourself because of someone else. Exactly. Just be yourself. Be confident to rule the world.
Good. Where can our listeners connect with you?
I'm on Instagram.
Great.
By the name of Wonder Tales, and I would love to connect with anyone.
Great.
And if
Great. I think it's been a very insightful episode, and I'm excited. If for nothing at all, at least we heard today that we have to cherish our lives. We have to be confident and be ourselves. We have to speak out, and that is when we always get help. And we also ultimately have to pick our children as our first priority or as our ultimate priority, and then be there for them at all times. Thank you very much, Akanksha, for coming on Podcast with Sheila today.
So much, Sheila. I just love being on your podcast.
Great. If you've been listening in, this is season 2, episode 35 of our podcast series, where we've been bringing your way seasoned guests with inspiring real life stories to share with us. Do not miss out on all these lovely experiences. Subscribe and be notified when a new episode is released. Whilst at it, please drop us a rating. We have a video presentation of this episode on our YouTube channel. Just search for Podcast with Sheila on YouTube and you will find us. Until we meet again.